Hi guys, this is Bully. In today's video, I am gonna take you through the essential WooCommerce key settings you need to know to set up your online store like a pro and start making money online. Alright, with that being said, let's get started. Alright guys, the first settings that I am gonna talk about are the general settings. Let's go to our WooCommerce WordPress dashboard. Click Settings. It's under the WooCommerce menu on the left panel. Make sure you add your store's physical address correctly to use for calculating taxes and shipping. Next, selling locations. Select the countries or regions where you want to sell your products. You could limit sales to specific locations or allow sales worldwide here. As for the shipping location, it should be the same as your selling location. The default customer location is to determine where WooCommerce assumes the customer is located. I choose geolocation in my store. I will let you know in the video later why, so stick around. Next, you may want to enable taxes if you need to charge sales tax. Make sure this option is enabled, and then enable coupons to use coupon codes, which is very useful feature. Enable coupons to use coupon codes, which is a very useful feature because they can be applied to the cart and checkout pages. Or you can also use the second option to apply multiple coupons, like applying the first coupon to the full price and then the second coupon to the discounted price, and so on. Next, for currency options, choose your currency and its correct formats. You could see a bunch of options from the drop-down boxes. Alright, the next settings are products. So just scroll up to the top of the page to click the products tab. There are so many links under the products. So the first one is general. And we are going to talk about shop pages here. Make sure you select the right page for your shop. Usually WooCommerce will create this for you when you install WooCommerce plugin on your website. And the next section is add to cart behavior. Make sure you enable Ajax add to cart buttons on archives here. And then you don't want to pick the first option. It might annoy your customers. The next one is placeholder image. Just leave it as it is. And the next section is measurements. For this section, just select what you want best for your customers and business model. So it depends. The next section is reveals. Usually you just can enable all the options here if you want, or just unselect whatever. And for the product ratings, you could also select the second option to require star ratings, because some say that enabling this setting can help build trust with customers and increase sales. Star ratings can help customers quickly gauge the quality of a product or service and can be a significant factor in encouraging visitors to make a purchase. Alright, next, let's scroll up to click inventory. I would pretty much leave the default settings that WooCommerce set up for you here. They are quite very good already and effective. As for the whole stock minutes, it's up to you to change the numbers. You could also add more recipients' emails for stock notifications in that box. Usually an admin should receive this notification, but you could add more. It's up to you. If you want to check the box of hide out of stock items from the catalog, then just select it. As for the last option, stock display format, there are some options that you could pick from. Just pick what is best for your business. Alright, let's go to the next section, which is downloadable products. Just click that link. If you sell a digital product or file, leave the options as forced downloads, even though there are more options that you could pick from. The first option is the most effective method. You could leave the next option unchecked because it's not secure. As for the access restriction, it depends on how you sell your digital products. You may not or may need your customer to log in to download it. The first option doesn't apply to guest purchases though. Usually we leave the second option checked for granting access to downloadable products after payment when orders are marked as processing rather than completed. As for opening in the browser, it's up to you if you want your customers to open downloadable files in the web browser instead of saving them to their device. I wouldn't select this option though. Usually your customers would want to save the digital files to their devices when they pay for the products. Next, for the file name, make sure the box is checked to append a unique string to file name for security. And the last option, count partial downloads, just keep the box checked for counting downloads even if only part of the file is fetched, because it's a way to enforce download limits based on conditions you set. Alright, let's go to the next section. Oh well, that one, we will skip that one because it is another plugin that I added. It's a gift card, so don't worry about it. The next one is approved download directories. This feature in WooCommerce is used to manage which directories can store downloadable product files. It's useful for selling downloadable products, multiple users, and company policies so that you could set up different directories for them. If you don't need all the new directories, you could leave them as they are set up by WooCommerce here. The next section of the product settings is advanced. Let's click that link to go to that section. Make sure the enable table usage is checked here because it enables the use of the product attributes lookup table. So for most users, the default settings are enough and you don't need to change it or worry about it, and just leave the rest unchecked if you want to. Alright, the next setting is tax. As for the first page of these settings, it's about tax options. On this page, we want to enable automated taxes because it will take the information from the WooCommerce core tax settings. That means the display prices will be set to exclude tax. It will be calculated using the customer's shipping address. If you want to charge tax for any other states, you can add a tax rate for that state in addition to using automated taxes. So select no. I will enter prices exclusive of tax. The tax will be calculated based on the customer's shipping address with the standard shipping tax class. And my store is based in Pennsylvania in the US. So here are the rest of the settings after additional tax classes. This has applied to the print-on-demand product online store and also with a store selling digital products, but it should work too with physical products. And the next page of this setting is standard rates. As for this page, add some other tax classes if you have any. It's used to define tax rates for the tax class that you're using in your state. So the next one is reduced rate rates. It's for reduced rate tax rates if you have any in your state or where your physical store or online store is at. Just add it here if you have any. The next option for the tax settings is zero rate rates. It's for zero rate tax rates. If you have any in your state or wherever you live or wherever you set up your online store at, just add one here. Alright, the next key setting is the shipping settings. The first page is shipping zones. Add your shipping zone here and regions. Just list the regions in your shipping zone and the customers will be matched against these regions. As for the shipping methods, there are some options you could choose from, like free shipping, flat rate, or a local pickup, whatever you need to add here to meet your business needs. The next page is shipping settings. You could choose one of the options for the shipping calculations here. You could use to enable the shipping calculator on the cart page, or you can hide the shipping costs until your customer enters his or her address. As for the shipping destination, we will keep it as default to the customer shipping address. As for the last option is to enable the debug mode. You could just ignore it or just enable it. If you enable it, it will show matching shipping zones and bypass the shipping rate cache. So it's up to you. Alright, the next page is shipping classes. On this page, you could add a new shipping class or more classes to customize the shipping rates you have to offer for your customers for different groups of products, such as if you have heavy items that require postage fees, you could add another shipping class here. The next page is for Printify shipping. You will have this option if you add your Printify store or integrate your Printify store to your WooCommerce store. If you do, make sure the first option is enabled because it's to enable the Printify shipping method plugin so that Printify will calculate the shipping fee for your customers whenever they buy your print-on-demand product. Alright, the next page is for WooCommerce shipping. So this page is another extension WooCommerce has offered to help you generate shipping labels. It's a WooCommerce shipping label plugin that mostly helps you with the backend processing of orders. This one is a different plugin than the shipping rate one, so it's up to you if to use it or not. If not, just disable it there. But if you're selling physical products, you're gonna need this service anyway. But there are many options on printing labels and tracking products out there you could try and use, not necessarily using this one. Next, the payment settings. There are many options that you could use as a payment method for your WooCommerce online store. Usually, Stripe and PayPal standard are the most popular in the US. You could use one of them or both. Just enable them and follow the instructions to set up an account with them if you haven't yet. Once you add those payments to your online store, you could just click the Manage button to modify or change the settings. I am not sure about other methods. You could use some of the methods to do some testing like checks payments and something like that, but I wouldn't recommend the cash on delivery. Alright, the next key setting is account and privacy. Usually the default settings of WooCommerce right here that they set for you are quite good already, but feel free to modify this page to meet your business privacy policies. Like we would check all the boxes for checkout. We also check all the boxes for the account creation as well as the account creation options. But for the account erasure requests, that depends on your business privacy policies. So as for the privacy policy section, make sure you add your privacy policy page in the description. As you could see here, I have my privacy policy page in the description of those two boxes. It's inside a pair of square brackets. As for the personal data retention section, it's for you to choose how long to retain your customer's personal data when it's no longer needed for order or refund processing. You could also leave the options blank and keep the personal data forever. However, this depends on your privacy policies though. These are the standard numbers WooCommerce sets for your online store, but feel free to change to go with your privacy policies. Alright, next is the email settings. Make sure you edit all the email templates here to make sure all the templates go with your branding and there are no typos. I have the email template customizer installed here, so you could see right there. And each template tells you who you sent that email to. But If you choose to use the WooCommerce default email templates, just click the Manage button to your right to edit them. And also, you need to edit the email sender options section below if you use the WooCommerce email template. Don't forget to add a link to your logo for the header image and the footer text as well. Also, change the base color, background color, body background color, and body text color. Make sure they all go with your branding. Don't forget to test the templates to see what they look like too at the end. Alright, next is the integration. As you could see here, I picked the geolocation earlier in this video in the general settings as the default customer location. So I already have an account with Maxmind. You could click the link Maxmind geolocation integration documentation and follow the instructions to get a license from them. It's free, but it does delete the country lookup, not the IP address. And here's why we use geolocation. WooCommerce includes geolocation by IP feature. This function calculates the customer's country using his IP address before they enter the address on the checkout or cart page. So setting up this feature is essential to display the correct price, taxes, and currency to the new users or customers buying your products on your online store. The next one is site visibility. It's for managing how your online store appears to site visitors. There are two options, coming soon and live. The coming soon has two options. The first one is to display a coming soon message on your store pages, but the rest of your site will remain visible. As for the second option, it is to share your site with a private link. The next one is the advanced settings. As you could see here, I have two more tabs. They are other plugins that I installed long ago, so we're not talking about them in this video. They are not core WooCommerce settings. And the first section is page setup. There are three parts. The first one is page setup so that WooCommerce knows where to send users to check out. The next part is checkout endpoints. The checkout endpoints are appended to your page URLs to handle specific actions during the checkout process, and they should be unique. And as for the last part, it is account endpoints. They are appended to your page URL to handle specific actions on the account pages. They should be unique and can be left blank to disable the endpoints. So usually WooCommerce sets this up for you so you don't have to worry about this page if you don't want to mess with them. Next is the REST API page. It's for all the API keys you could add for a plugin if it needs to have your permission to access your online store to read or write something. It's like updating your print-on-demand product order statuses and so on. These are the keys for my print-on-demand provider plugins like Sakeke, Printful, and Printify. If you guys don't have this on your store, just don't worry about it. That means your store doesn't have print-on-demand providers or it needs any API keys. Alright, the next page is webhooks. Webhooks can trigger events every time you add, edit, or delete orders, products, coupons, or customers, when purchases are made, and so on. I have only the Printify order webhook here, so I wouldn't worry about this page, but don't toy around with it if you don't know what you're doing. So, alright, the next one is the legacy API page. Actually, this is for any legacy APIs that a certain plugin still uses. In my case, it's for Printify because it still uses legacy REST API for webhooks in WooCommerce. I haven't removed it yet. WooCommerce has released an extension that includes all the legacy REST API code for some websites. Alright, as for the next page, it's WooCommerce.com. This page is just for WooCommerce to collect your usage data to tailor your store setup experience so they could offer more relevant content and help make WooCommerce better for everyone. It's optional if you want to opt in. If you do, just check the box in the usage tracking section. As for the next section, if you don't want to see suggestions for other extensions that they are trying to sell you, just uncheck the box. Alright, the next page is features. This page is for starting using the WooCommerce new features that are being progressively rolled out to improve the store management experience. As for order data storage, you could enable high performance order storage as recommended. Sadly, my store can't have that yet because I still have the legacy REST API plugin in it. As for the analytics and order attribution, it's okay to enable them. They are quite very useful. But as for the last section, the experimental features, I would be careful with those two options because you never know that some new features might be buggy or some people would call it has a glitch. Since they said progressively rolled out new features, well, it's your online store. It's up to you. Do whatever is best for you. Since you've learned about the WooCommerce key settings in this video, you should learn about how to add a custom order to your WooCommerce store. If you haven't had that feature in your store yet, I highly recommend watching this video next. Alright, until next time, you have a fantastic day wherever you are. I'll see you on my next video. Bye now.